What is up, you guys? It's your boy Xander here, back with another video. For those of you who are new to the channel, hi, my name is Xander, and on this channel we get into all things everything. I do music reviews, I talk about hot topics, pop culture, important stuff going on in the world, and just basic, life tips. For those of you who do not know, I am a recent graduate. I graduated with a business degree and a psych degree, so I do like to talk about just a lot of different things revolving around this mortal coil. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you subscribe. For my subscribers that are here tuned in, thank you so much. Today we're going to talk about insecurity. And so the reason that I say this is because insecurity is a big thing. Everybody in some form or fashion deals with insecurity. And recently I've actually had to deal with my own types of insecurity. And so I figured it'd be a good idea to come on here to talk to you guys just about insecurity and some things that I do to kind of help myself in terms of my insecurities, and things that I do, with my best friends to kind of help them in their own insecurities as well. So like I always say, this is just a conversation. It's not an end-all be-all guide to dealing with insecurity. If it was that simple, trust me, everybody would. But I really just like to start conversations and engage in these types of conversations, as a community. So like always, make sure you leave some commentary down in the comment section below. Let's dive into insecurity. So let's define insecurity. Insecurity is basically an uncertainty or anxiety about yourself, your self-perception, in various different ways. So people can be insecure in their relationships, they can be insecure in their work, they could just have a general lack of self-confidence about various things in their lives. And so that's why a lot of people suffer from insecurity, or a lot of people deal with insecurity just in several avenues in their lives. I do want to preface this by saying that you shouldn't feel guilty for being insecure. It's honestly just a part of living in some form or fashion. Dealing with insecurity is normal, and a lot of people, especially in the world of social media and in the world of information, in the information age, insecurity is a lot more prevalent than it has been in the past. And so I myself have dealt with insecurity in a bunch of ways, and as far as comparison, as far as, am I attractive, failure. I'm very hard on myself when it comes to the things that I do in life, and I always get in those moods where I'm like, oh, I could have worked harder, I could have done this better. I'm one of those people that's never satisfied, with what I'm doing. My past. So I have a lot of insecurities, a lot of times without just some choices that I made in my past, and we all make, dumb choices, but that would be a major source of the insecurity that I deal with. And then for a long time growing up, if you guys can't tell, I'm very, I guess flamboyant is the term to use. I'm very effeminate, and just my mannerisms and the way that I talk and things like that. And so a lot of the insecurity that I had growing up came from that. I'm in a place now where that doesn't bother me because I'm a bad bitch regardless. But for a long time, my insecurity was bred of those things. And so it took me a while to get to a place where I feel secure in myself for the most part. Now, I'm a fan of transparency, so if I'm being completely honest, I'm actually dealing with a little bit of that right now. I'm finding myself in a situation where I'm wondering in my head sometimes, like, oh, would I have a chance with that person? Or, oh, does that person find me attractive? Like I said, today I just want to talk about some ways to deal with that insecurity and how I deal with the insecurities that I have. So overcoming insecurity is tough. It can definitely be challenging, and I think that depending on where your insecurity is birthed from or the reason for it, there are different ways to handle it. And so like I said, a lot of my insecurity comes from some choices that I made in my past, and what has helped me, dealing with that is understanding that the past is over. The past is just that. It's the past, and there's not really anything you can do about it. I feel like everybody has a past, and everybody has those experiences and make those dumb choices, but you can either dwell on the past and dwell on the bad decisions that you've made, and the dumb things that you've done, or you can choose to take those as lessons. Take it on the chin as a lesson learned, as an experience, good or bad, I think that a lot of people get hung up in, past moments, those cringy moments that you have, like, why did I do that? Why was I so dumb? Why did I make those choices? The fact of the matter is the choices are made. What's done is done, and there's not really anything you can change about it. So bringing that insecurity from the past into the future it's not advantageous to you at all. It really does not help you. And so what helps me is understanding that the past is the past, and you just gotta let that go. So, recently I have been dealing with insecurity in the sense of feeling not necessarily not good enough, but there are those moments where, because I've recently been talking to someone, and just in a totally platonic way, but it's someone I've had a crush on for a very, very long time. And so I find myself like, oh, well, they could never like you because you're not their type, or because you're not, skinny and muscular, or because of this and because of that. And in my mind, I find myself thinking about these things and like, well, you're not this and you're not that. And then on top of well, you're too feminine and you're too flamboyant, and just those kinds of things that I dealt with so long ago, those kinds of things affect you. And so I find myself, and the moments are fleeting, but I find myself thinking on those things. And I think one of the things that has helped me a lot in the past and now, especially because I still get asked, well, are you gay, or why do you talk like you're white? Those kinds of things, those still happen, and they don't affect me like they did before. But recently I found myself learning to accept all of myself, accept all of who I am, accept my flamboyant nature, accept my vernacular, accept, those little things about me that I used to just hate. I make it a point to show love to those things that I dislike about myself. And so one of the things I've recently made the choice to live a healthier lifestyle. And a lot of that comes from just wanting to be healthy, and not necessarily from my curviness, the fat that I have on my body. But I've been learning to show love to that part of myself, even though I am actively working to get rid of it and to get myself in a better shape. I've learned that I have to give myself grace. You have to give yourself grace to change the things that you want to change, but to love those things that you can't. And even love those things that you can change. You have to meet yourself where you are. You have to meet yourself in the thick of everything that you may hate about yourself. You have to show love to those parts of yourself, because those kinds of things, especially the things that you can't change, they're part of you. And if you can change them, by all means, if you feel like you need to, go for it. But I think showing love to every part of yourself and accepting everything that you are for who you are goes a long way in combating that type of insecurity when you just don't feel good about yourself in general. Another thing that I do, I feel like self-affirmation is really, really, really important. And so every morning at 9 in the morning, I drop whatever I'm doing and I affirm myself. And what I mean by that is I tell myself positive things about me. So an example of me affirming myself, I'll do what I can remember. I tell myself, Xander, you're smart, you're intelligent, you are handsome as hell, your chubby cheeks are adorable, you are resilient, you are strong, you are chosen, you have purpose. And those are the type of things that I do for myself every morning, just to show love to myself, because your words have power, and you tell yourself that enough, and I promise you'll start to believe it. Self-affirmation is important. You have to love every aspect of who you are. So another thing that I deal with in terms of insecurity, and that a lot of my friends deal with in terms of insecurity, is feeling like, you have to seek validation from other people, whether it be from your parents, yes, even your parents, your friends. I know a lot of my friends, because I started working at a very young age, and I do decent for myself. A lot of my friends look to me for validation in some sort, and I think that it starts with, you have to practice self-approval. You have to be, approving of yourself. You can't look for validation in others. You can't look for validation in your parents or your best friends or your spouse even. You have to be able to find that validation in you. You have to be able to approve of yourself and approve of who you are, where you are. I think that's so important. We get in the habit of doing things and and losing ourselves. For example, in relationships, we get in this habit of losing ourselves in relationships for validation from our girlfriends and boyfriends and significant others, and trying to seek that validation in them to be comfortable in relationships, and that's friends and everything, romantic relationships, platonic relationships, all kinds of things. And I think that in order to combat that, you have to be approving of yourself. You have to practice self-approval. Please let that comparison shit go. The world of social media has brainwashed us into thinking that by the time we're 21, 22, 23, 24, 30, we're supposed to have everything together and be living our dream lives. And I'm sorry, but that is just not realistic. So much insecurity is bred from comparison. So much self-doubt is bred from comparison. So many issues stemming from identity crises and body dysmorphia and just all types of those different things are bred from comparison, and we have to stop doing that. You have to stop comparing yourself to others. Let me tell you something. As far as social media is concerned, you are never seeing 100% of someone's life. You're not even seeing 10%, if we're being completely honest. Social media has brainwashed people into thinking that what you see is what you get, and 99% of the time that's not true. It's not. People show you a highlight reel of their lives on social media. Influencers are literally paid to do this, and I know this is ironic because I'm a YouTuber, but we have to get out of the spirit, I say spirit of comparison. We have to get out of that mindset. You gotta stop comparing yourself to others and comparing where you are in your life to where someone is in their life. You can't think like, oh, Beyonce was a Grammy-winning millionaire multi-recording artist by the age she was 21. Everybody's walk is different. Everybody's journey is different, and you don't know what each person had to go through to get to where they are. So you can't go through life comparing your body to their body, your accomplishment to their accomplishments. And I'm gonna say it again, love yourself where you are and give yourself the grace to get where you're trying to get. We're so used to seeing filtered lives. We're so used to seeing only the best moments of people's lives and what they want us to see. And this is even in our personal lives. Don't compare yourself to your best friend. Don't compare yourself to where your parents were when they were younger. Don't compare yourself to where some stranger down the street is now. You can't do that. We have to get out of the habit of comparing ourselves. And for the longest time, I used to do that. I'm just like, oh, I'm 27. Is it too late to start a YouTube channel? I should have done this when I was younger. I definitely should have, worked harder. I shouldn't have put it off. And then I realized, you know what? My life is mine, and my journey has been my journey, and everything that I've accomplished and everything that I've done during my journey to here where I am now is mine. And what's for me is for me, regardless of the person that I'm trying to compare myself to. You have to love yourself where you are. That's extremely important. So, like I said, insecurity is definitely something that we all deal with in some form or another, but I think that self-affirmation is important. Learning to love yourself where you're at is important, and then loving yourself for all that you are, every aspect of yourself. It also helps to surround yourself with people who support you and who compliment you and things like that. I mean, it isn't something that you should have to rely on, but compliments don't hurt, and having friends that uplift you and family that uplifts you and your goals and your dreams is also extremely important. I can say that that's one of my favorite things about my mother. No matter what it is that I am pursuing, she's always supportive and she's always there. She's even in my comment section on a lot of my videos. So hopefully this encourages some of you guys. Hopefully this stuff helps you. Like I said, if you have any tips or things that you do to deal with insecurity, let me know down in the comment section below, because you never know who could use those tips. You never know who it could help. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. This is just me having a conversation with you guys. This is Xander, and I am signing out. But before I leave, make sure you guys click on one of these other videos, get your life a little bit, support the channel. That's all I got. Thank you, guys. Bye.